All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess it's afternoon now, right? I'm so sorry about the delay for this live stream. I had some technical difficulties trying to get the live stream set up and the link and everything, but we're good now. We're live. I got it set up and posted everywhere. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in if you are. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jessie Smith, and I'm a contemporary artist based here in Missoula, Montana. For the last 5 years, I've slowly but surely been building my art career, all while being a mother and working. I have all the tools, tech, and talent I need to run a successful business as an artist, and I finally gained enough momentum and opportunities that it's starting to feel like it's time for me to leave my day job and make art my full-time career. Which brings us to today's live stream auction. In an effort to create a cash surplus before leaving my job, I'll be auctioning 15 of my original artworks, all framed and ready to be hung in your home. Having this surplus will cover my bills for the next few months as I create new works to sell, apply to paid opportunities, create more prints of my work to sell, online as well as art fairs, and bringing in more income, which will bring in more income to pay my bills in the future. Being a financially independent artist has been my life dream. I have dedicated my life to pursuing this dream, and have gained an awesome support network of artists, curators, patrons, collectors, and art lovers, all rooting for me to be successful. And that means the world to me, and I know that I can do this, especially with your guys' help. So I want to thank you all for, from the bottom of my heart, for supporting me over the years and your continued support as I go on to make this life change. Today I have Megan Haney helping me. She's super awesome. She makes copper-plated resin jewelry, Wander in Rain. Go check her stuff out. She's super awesome. So far I have everything set up to be about like 10-minute intervals of being on camera, and but we'll just kind of see how it goes since we're starting a little late. And I mean, I don't know if I can talk about work for 10 minutes straight. So let's see how this goes. And again, I just want to thank you guys for helping me pursue my dreams. So first up, we have Miss Yayoi Kusama. We're going to be doing my pieces from my famous internet artist series, which was part of my first solo gallery exhibit at the E3 Convergence Gallery here in Missoula. I did, I think, 8 portraits total, 2 of which I never made prints of because I wanted to repaint them. But yeah, I chose Miss Yayoi because her work is just so amazing, and she has such an interesting life story. She grew up in Japan, was taught that art was foolish, and pursued it anyways despite that, and despite a lot of other obstacles in her life. So if you haven't heard or learned anything about Yayoi, I definitely recommend watching her documentary on Netflix right now, which is called Kusama Infinity. And it just goes over her life story and her work, and she's just a really amazing woman. The image size, the painting size is 11 by 14 inches. The frame and mat on the inside are 14 by 18 inches, and these are going to be the dimensions for all of the artist portraits that I'm going to be auctioning today. And this is about 1.5 to 2 inch thick black contemporary frame. I think it just really brings out how awesome and amazing this painting is and how colorful these pieces are. So let's go ahead and I'm going to switch over to the next artist now.
Just, you want me to list it now?
Yes. This window?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's really bright behind it.
All right. And uh-oh. Okay.
Technical difficulty.
All right, guys, the technical difficulties are never ending today, so I'm gonna log into eBay for Megan really quick so she can hit list on these listings. You might just have to do it online. And it's not gonna pull it up. 538. Okay, while that's loading, I'm gonna get, next up on the auction is Salvador Dali. Awesome. Okay. So Yoyoy is live on eBay now for bidding. And next up, we're going to be putting Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali influenced my art very early on. I discovered him as a teenager in high school and just loved how weird and eccentric he was and how weird his art was. One of my favorite pieces of his was The Temptation of St. Anthony. As my very first piece I remember seeing of his. And it's just this naked man's backside who's kneeling down and flashing this cross at these elephants and this horse that are all spindly legged and carrying a temple and women. And it's just, his work is just so amazing. I love it. And like I was saying with Yoyoy, it's 11 by 14 with a 14 by 18 or 18 by 24, I want to say, frame in mat size. And you'll notice that the original is a lot more teal in color versus my prints and reproductions that I sell. And that's because the scanner just doesn't pick up that underlying green in there. And when I try to correct it, it makes the pink look super gross. So I just sacrificed having a perfect replication for just a pretty good one, I guess. But yeah, that's why I would encourage buying the original versus a print, because you get those awesome teals in there. And I picked teal because it's just a weird color and he was such a weird guy. Yeah, so and you listed that one. And he's live on there now, available for bidding. I was looking up quotes about him that he had said at one point, and he said that mustaches are a sacred type of thing, and he would carry around fake mustaches in a cigarette case and offer them to people at parties, and no one would take them. And if I was at a Salvador Dali party, I would absolutely take a mustache from him because mustaches are so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna move on to the next artist portrait.
Jessie, we're having more difficulties.
Uh-oh.
This is the one. Only request new word. Wait, look up. See listings perhaps.
Oh my goodness. So I think what we might have to do, which really sucks, is turn that off. So yeah, I guess just take off the buy it now prices.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so more technical difficulties. Gotta love that Mercury retrograde, right, guys? We are gonna have to take down the buy them now prices. So it's strictly going to be bidding, which is kind of unfortunate. So Salvador is up now, $100 opening bid, and hopefully we won't have any more issues. Next up on the auction is Miss Georgia O'Keeffe. And what I love most about Georgia was her close-ups of the flowers and bones and things, and just being so inspired by nature. The other really interesting thing that I learned about her, which I guess I should have mentioned this at the beginning, when I created these works, it was when I was working night shifts at the airport parking garage. And I would sit in my booth and watch documentaries about famous artists and their how they became who they are. And what I found interesting about Georgia is she actually had nude photography images taken of her, and it caused a really big backlash against her, and just a lot of like controversy at the beginning of her career, and which I think is stupid because the female form and just the human form in general is a work of art in itself. And we shouldn't be shaming people for taking artistic nudes. So Georgia, like I said, with the other pieces is 11 by 14 with 14 by 18 matte and frame. And all these famous artist portraits have a wire back. So they're really easy to hang with this 1.5 to 2 inch contemporary black frame. They just really pop on your wall and look beautiful. Yeah, so I'm gonna pop on to the next artist since we're kind of running behind with technical difficulties and everything today. All right, and next up we have Mr. Andy Warhol. He was another really weird, eccentric man whose work I just absolutely love for how poppy it is. Plus, it was pretty ingenious of him to come up with a way to create multiple works, with like his block printing and everything. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank now. I'm so stressed. Anyways, 11 by 14 in here, 14 by 18 frame and matte with the wire hanging back. And yeah, he used to throw these really weird parties, and one of the documentaries I watched about him kind of went into how he was very much into voyeurism and was kind of the godfather, I guess you could say, of, like reality TV and just how everyone can be famous for 15 minutes. Which was really interesting because if you are like me, if you're the same age as I am, which is like in your late 20s, you probably grew up watching a lot of reality TV. So I always found that really fascinating that Andy Warhol was kind of the person who brought that on.
I see it saying it again, even with the buy it now on.
Well, I think what we'll do is I'll still show everything and then I'll just list, like, because it says for this month, and I'm gonna hope that tomorrow I can just list everything because it'll be the first of another month.
Or you could just create Etsy listings and post that with your video.
That's true. I'm going into my Etsy.
Should you maybe take it in clips then so you can add it in later?
I think I'll just continue doing the stream to get through everything and then go. Okay, everybody, so essentially what has happened, which I didn't realize this was a thing, eBay isn't letting me post all of my listings at once because it's exceeding $500 apparently, and I can't list more than $500 worth of things within my first month. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to finish out the stream and show you guys all the work. And then hopefully tomorrow, since it's the first, I can just list them all tomorrow. If not, I might just have to go back and try and list them on like Etsy or something. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish showing you guys all the pieces, and hopefully we can get something figured out after the stream to get them posted for you guys. I'm so sorry. I can't believe that's part of eBay's rules. So F eBay, I guess. But next we have Shy from my Inktober 2017 series, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit closer so you can see it. Closer? Okay. What I love, so Inktober is this internet phenomenon that happens every October where artists are challenged to do a pen and ink drawing every day for the month. And they release a prompt list to go off of so that you don't run out of inspiration while you're drawing every day. And the prompt for this one was Shy. And I just was so inspired by the thought of this girl just super embarrassed, hiding within some wisteria flowers. And I just love this frame that I was able to find for it because I feel like it just radiates her shyness and embarrassment from her face. All right, next is my piece called Filthy, which when I was creating these pieces, I was trying to think of things that weren't the first thing you think of when you hear the word. Because I'm sure people think of, you know, pigs rolling in mud or just something dirty. And when I created Filthy, I was thinking of how negatively people view sexuality sometimes and how it's still very taboo. So I wanted to capture that with a lip bite and smeared lipstick. All right.
I'm watching it here. You can go even a little closer.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
So this piece is titled Crooked. What I love most about it is it's captures the definition of crooked being dishonest or lying. And a lot of this was in 2017, so it was around when President Trump was elected. And I just wanted to capture what he always says as he's telling a lie or after telling a lie, which is believe me. And I really wanted to have the crossed fingers behind the back to further show that dishonesty and crookedness. Do you want to try to maybe list this one? So this one is Squeak, and it's very popular. I know quite a few of you absolutely love it. It's this cute bat going to nom on a little moth. I chose the bat, even though that's probably a little more mainstream of a thought process with the inspiration of squeak. But I just love bats and how they use echolocation to avoid obstacles and find their prey. And so I wanted to try to capture that essence of a bat squeaking to get a yummy meal. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but what I loved about this Inktober series is I used white gel pens to kind of highlight the piece in certain areas. So I don't know if it's showing up on camera at all, but a little bit. So it just helps make it pop and look more 3D almost. Oh, and I forgot to go over sizes on all of these, but Squeak is 8x8 and framed and ready to be hung on a wall for sure. Okay. All right, next we have Deep, which is a sperm whale deep in the ocean. And I didn't use as much white on this one, but I definitely used it in the bubbles. And what I love about this frame, which was pointed out to me when I was showing it at Black Owl, was with it being an oval frame, it looks like you're looking at a porthole of like a submarine and seeing a whale swimming outside of it, which is pretty cool. I think this is where we have our intermission. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the sound off, and we'll be back on in about 10 minutes.
I'm not really doing anything. Just telling you when to bring it closer and stuff.
Okay. All right, guys, we're back. Had a nice little break there, kind of unwind and get ready for the next batch. We're going to do teaming next. All right, so teaming here is an 8x10 in a 11x14 matte frame. And this is probably about an inch to an inch and a quarter, inch and a half black frame. I'm going to bring this closer so you can see these cute little tadpoles with gold eyes and speckles. And I just love the idea of teaming tadpoles and being able to say that. But yeah. All right, so next is Mysterious. And the inspiration behind this piece was primarily just like a bookworm, being really interested in mystery novels. And my favorite, this is actually one of my favorite pieces from Inktober, because it's a Cyclops, and I designed this eyeglass for her, which I was always really proud of. But yeah, I just love this piece. It's so dynamic. And I just love how her eye turned out. And it's hard to tell, but the tattoos on her fingers would spell out bookworm. So that's why it's ORM right there. And she's reading Misery by Stephen King. All right, this next piece from my Inktober series is Found. It's 9 by 12, but I couldn't find any 9 by 12 frames that I really liked because I wanted a really thick border. So I used an 11 by 14 and placed the piece over a mat, and it's supposed to convey the thought of finding yourself. So she has the key to this box that contains herself, and they're staring at each other. And this is another one of my very favorite Inktober pieces. Just absolutely lovely. And doing art like this that has really weird, deep meanings that convey abstract thoughts or ideas are my absolute favorite to draw. Next we have blind, and the inspiration behind this is how invested we all are on our phones to where we're blinded by the rest of our surroundings. So she has a set of horse blinders on her face, and you'll see it when I bring it up closer, but her eye doesn't have a pupil, so she's actually kind of blind. Or you could think of it as the whiteness from the screen is blocking out the details of her eye. And this piece is 9 by 12. That's how big the mysterious piece was as well. But yeah, I love, this is one of my favorite Inktober pieces as well. And it sounds like we have neighbor kids at my house now. So I'm gonna go take care of that really quick. Never mind, they got the hint. All right. All right, next up here is Screech. And this one's by the buy it now price is a little bit higher because it is 8 by 10, but it has multiple mats and is in this really nice 11 by 14 inch frame. The inspiration, again, kind of like Squeak, is a little more commonplace with it being a screech owl as the subject. But I was very much inspired by the cosmic owl on Adventure Time. So when I bring this closer, you'll see it has all these really beautiful stars and sparkles in its wings and eyes. Which, like I said, with that gel pen, it just really pops more on that paper than if it were a print. Same with the gold in the eyes and on the branch it's standing on. All right, and this is the last piece that I'm going to be auctioning today. And it is called Trail. And I absolutely love incorporating Fabergé eggs into my work. They're just so intricate, and what I love about drawing them is kind of designing my own. And this piece is about 8 by 10 in that oval, and then it has the multiple mats. So that again is why it's a little bit pricier than the other ones in that size. But this one, that white gel pen just pops so well in the details of the slug and its mucus trail that it left. And I grew up seeing slugs in my grandma's garden, and they're just so weird and cool looking. I've always just been fascinated by the little animals and gardens and things. So thank you all for joining me today. I am sorry again that we started late and for all the technical difficulties that we experienced today, unfortunately. I'm gonna work on trying to hopefully list everything tomorrow on eBay. I'm really hoping that because tomorrow's the 1st, it'll let me. If not though, I might just list everything on Etsy, and I'll be sure to post those links on the Facebook event and on my Instagram and Facebook and everything for all of you who are interested. I know a lot of you were really interested in Squeak, and I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to get it listed. But yeah, so I will keep you all updated on all of that. And again, I can't thank you all for supporting me and tuning in today to watch this live stream. So maybe I'll try to do this again with some more work. We'll see what happens. Thank you again. Bye.